And it's Wednesday night, which means it's quickfixgolf.com with all his buddies to get together to talk golf. And tonight we have a very, very, very special guest, Jim Gallagher Jr. We're going to tell you more about him in a minute.
How did we get so lucky for him to come on? I don't know, Bobby.
What, did you bribe him?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and tell us what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, wake the kids, phone the neighbors. You want to stick around tonight because here are some of the topics we're going to talk to Jim about. We're going to talk a little bit about how you learn a golf swing, how you train to swing a golf club, and how you actually play, and the difference between the two, and how elite, competitive, gritty, healthy golfers are made. And then we hear so much about the power game and strategic golf. What's the difference between the two, and where does Jim see the game currently?
And we'd like to ask you, what did it feel like leading the Masters, and what is this podcast you got going? And who's going to be next at the Golf Channel? Phil Mickelson? I don't know if he's ever going to stop. He might be 100 still be playing.
It ain't going to be you, Bobby. That's for sure. Well, I'm Darren DeMailey. I taught for Jack Nicklaus at the Bears Club for 7 years. Hung out with Michael Breed, Martin Hall, all the greatest that have taught the game.
Until they threw him out.
Exactly.
Bobby Lopez played a little golf across the pond.
And we're the PGA pros
at Tupelo
Bay.
We can never get that right.
No, we got close.
We got close. Tell them what we want them to do there, Darren.
So what we want you to do is we want you to get your cell phones out. We are the leaders in online golf instruction. And take a video of your golf swing and send it to us for a free analysis. Not a penny out of your pocket. You owe it to yourself. And we want you to play better golf now. So why not?
Well, tonight we have Jim Gallagher Jr. It's a 5-time winner on the PGA Tour. Actually won 9 tournaments. Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. And Tennessee is I love Nashville. I think that's the greatest town in the whole world.
Oh.
Golf analyst on the Golf Channel, who is a member of the Ryder Cup team, President's Cup team, and he's got his podcast going. Jim Gallagher Jr., welcome to the Quick Fix Golf. I don't know what the heck it is, but it is what it is.
Well, I'm on here, and we're going to have a big time. That's fun. I'm looking forward to this. See if my brain can calculate anything right now.
Well, go ahead. There's our first question right there. We sort of discussed this a little bit before we started. Mm-hmm. The difference between learning to swing and learning how to play.
Well, that's a great question because my dad was my sole teacher. And I think one of the cool things he allowed me to do is to be me and didn't really get bogged down early on with a lot of technical stuff. But he made sure I had the basics down, proper grip, setup. And I think sometimes it gets lost in instruction in today because everybody's worried about their golf swing and they forget about the basics. But my mom actually spent more time with me growing up because Dad was a club pro and was working 60, 70 hours a week. And she was told, hey, make sure his grip's proper and make sure his setup and those kind of key points. And that's just something I worked with. And there's a difference of playing golf swing and hitting a golf shot. And I think there's time to work on your golf swing on the range and all that stuff. I didn't really get bogged down with technical things. I had a hard time doing that. I just played a lot by feel. I played a lot. I didn't like to practice. Of course, I grew up with a golf course that didn't really have a driving range. And that's probably why I played so much. And I think I got more out of playing. And that's what my dad loved about it. And one of the things I did, and I'm maybe getting off the tracks here a little bit, but one of the things I would do is I would play a match play, Titleist 1 versus Titleist 2. And I would play a match against each ball and come in. And that's kind of the way I emulated like match play. But I also was learning how to play, how to hit different shots. And those are the things I did to kind of keep me going. As far as golf swing, Dad would take some time and look at me. But the two things I guess we really, other than just the basic setup, is I wanted to make a good shoulder turn and have good tempo. Those are the two big keys I thought of, and I still do to this day. And for me, I knew when my left shoulder got underneath my chin or past there, I was making a pretty good shoulder turn. And it was, I guess, basically like finishing your backswing. But those are the things I thought of: tempo and finishing and having a good shoulder turn. Everything else kind of fell into sync. I've always played with an interlocking grip, and my dad always wanted me to change. And finally, I think I changed it. I think it was my sophomore year in college, believe it or not, and I couldn't play dead. And I just went back to it. And, I think I went to the USC. I know this is a true story. I went to the Olympic Club. I shot 87-80 at Olympic Club. And I'm 24 over after 27, and I'm about to quit. I really was. I mean, I was like, this stupid overlap grip ain't working for me. And I went back home, and then I found out, two pretty good players played with interlock, Jack Nicklaus, and of course Tiger came along and played with it. So if it worked for them, it should work for me. And I went back to that. And I think that's just, it was almost, not that it was too late, but it was really hard to make that big a change for me, to change that. And it worked for me. And there's people that play with 10-finger grip. There's all kinds of ways of doing it. And I think we get kind of wanting to make it cookie cutter if we're not careful, but you just go with what you have. And I think that's what I did. Those are the things I did. And I just think playing like I did and playing those little contests, and I would have like a 64-person match play tournament. Ben Hogan would be playing Nicklaus, and they'd all go through those things. Those are just the games I played, just kind of keep me, interested in going. But that's probably why I like playing better than practicing, no range. But Dad would go out and we'd work on a few things. And I think that's the thing. It's so hard to do, to play golf swing. When you're in a competition, you just got to go with what you got. You've got to see the shots you want to hit, and you've got to try to execute it. If you put your time in and you've practiced and you've put all that in, that's all you can do. That's what I would tell my girls that played in college, or even my son. Did you put the time in? Did you practice? Yes. Okay. Now just go execute it. Because after that, you can't control some of the other things.
Yeah, Jim, that's great insight. And we always say this at the Academy with playing golf swing and then playing with consequence. And I like the way that you're talking, with Titleist 1 versus Titleist 2, just going out there and playing two balls and playing against each other. And we try to put our students in that situation where they're actually hitting shots.